We all have watched or read at least one or two shonen anime or manga, am I right? The story where the main character slowly unlocks new powers and keeps getting stronger. How about today we take that to another level? Stories where the main character is already strong as hell. I mean, they are so strong that the villains and monsters would slash their pants in fear of him. But the interesting thing is that the main character has no clue about his powers and simply thinks of himself as a weak and low-level being. Sounds fun, right? Well, today I'm going to tell you about the top 10 manhwa where the main character misunderstands his power completely. So without any more bullcrap, let's get started. Starting at number 10, we have I'm Really Not the Demon God's Lackey. Before anything, I want to tell you guys that this manhwa is an isekai, but don't think this is a manhwa version of Arefureta. In my opinion, this series is pretty good. The story is very unique in my own opinion, and it revolves around a young man being brought to a new world because he wants to own all the books possible. But to do so, he uses a ritual. And like always, there is a price to pay. When he got to the world, he runs a bookstore that he sees as completely normal, but others see him and the store as something utterly terrifying. This is one of those stories where the main character is considered a noob in his real world, but gets transported to a new world where other people think he is some big shot due to some hilarious misunderstanding. At first glance, it could look like a slice of life story, and as the story goes on by, we can see just a little bit more about the world. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention one of the most important factors of the series. It's a comedy! This manhwa is hilarious! But comedy is subjective after all. This may not be your cup of tea, but if it is, you will have a great time. Believe me. Then next at number 9, we have I'm Actually a Cultivation Big Shot. It's a bit similar to I Am Not the Demon King's Lackey in a sense, but the main character is extremely feared by other characters because they think of him as an all-powerful immortal, while he is a normal human being. It is super funny, and I don't know about you, but I started to have a stomach ache. It still hurts due to the laughing. Coming back to the basic plot, the main character gets transported to an immortal cultivation world as a mortal. Knowing that he could never become a cultivator, he decided to live an ordinary life. This series is actually quite similar to I'm Really Not the Demon God's Lackey, but the one thing that takes it up is its artwork. It is so beautiful that it may not be the best I have ever seen, but it is one of the best for sure. For those guys who think that artwork in all manhwas are the same, it is not at all a big factor. You are basically on the same page as the people who think that animation for Demon Slayer and Boruto are the same. But we don't have any time to be wasting on this topic because I still have a bunch of things left to tell you. So at number 8, we have Evolution Begins with a Big Tree. Another isekai, folks, but this time the main character gets reincarnated as a willow tree. I mean, god damn it. What's next? A washing machine? A blender? A planet? But anyways, if only being reincarnated as a tree was not enough for the main character, so he also has spiritual energy and divine powers. For those wondering, what will a freaking tree do with all those powers if it can't even move? Well, the main character has also the power to evolve. So basically, the main character of this series is a tree on roids. It can evolve infinitely. The story up until now feels like a training arc, and the main character, to protect the ones he cares about, is constantly getting stronger. And so are his subordinates. But that is not what includes this series in this list. The reason it is its brutality. It turns out the main character has no problem murdering little children if that's what is needed. He's evil, but is basically good at the same time. Chaotic good. Now that's what you call ultimate balance. Well, jokes aside, this is a really good manhwa, and there are not many chapters released yet. The released ones are so good that they keep you wanting more and more. This is one I highly recommend you guys give it a try at least once. Up next at number 7, we have Top Tier Providence, Secretly Cultivate for 1,000 Years. Now, this one makes me sad. Not because of its plot, but due to how underrated it is. This is a type of manhwa that a lot of people call a hidden gem. This has a surprisingly excellent story and is one of the best cultivation manhwa I've read so far. The world and settings are really exciting, and the jokes are funny as hell too. And as for the plot, we have yet another isekai MC who arrives in a cultivation world with a system. He has died so many times that the only thing he wants to do is simply survive. So he goes to the extent of rejecting waifus one after another and just focuses on cultivating. I truly respect this level of determination and commitment. He literally just trains for a whole bunch of years and gets stronger with almost every passing chapter. If this doesn't scare the villains of the series, I don't know what will. But even after getting this strong, the main character doesn't understand the true potential of his abilities and just thinks that he is some underdog. This series is absolutely hilarious and a great reading experience. So for those still thinking about whether they should read this manhwa or not, I'll make it easy for you. Go and read it, damn it! And at number 6, we have Above 10,000 People. The X factor this manhwa benefits from is having an extremely naive main character who, more than often, misunderstands the situations he is in. And it is what makes the series even more hilarious. One important thing I would like you guys to know beforehand is that this is not a Cultivation action manhwa. It's a comedy manhwa, and it knows it. Oh, and for the folks who were finally thinking that the chapters of Isekai are over, I would like to notify you that we are just getting started. Don't judge me. I just like this sort of stuff. Anyways, this is a type of Cultivation manhwa where the main character is transported to another world where he has no spiritual root and only knows to fight with modern skills like boxing. But unknown to him are his hidden powers, and everything he does becomes a treasure in that world. The main character is given a system, of course. The system says to the main character that he is at the lowest stage of the power level, but in reality he is the most busted thing in the world. Yet he misunderstands the whole situation, making the plot even more hilarious. Finally, in my opinion, a very nice manhwa to read overall. Next, welcoming us at number 5 is I Built Lifespan Club. Now this manhwa is a top tier one. Why? Well, let me explain. The story starts with the main character being just an ordinary guy until he gets a new ability out of nowhere. Any guess of what that could be? The main character can control the freaking lifespan of people. The plot itself is very good and is bounded by its limitations. It is not a superhero type, but rather a businessman in a regular world type. The main character buys and sells time to people. He starts buying years from poor people and sells them to rich people. On top of that, he creates an eternal club where members are elite customers and employees are top-tier geniuses. And the main character develops a villain-like character and becomes more cunning and greedy. But that only makes it even more exciting. The series does not rush the plot as it progresses moderately. And one point that has to be noted is that even though this manhwa follows the concept of time, don't expect a lot of logical things. Read this for enjoyment, not for philosophical reading. I mean, literally. The main character got a power so broken that he can use it to control the world, but he just uses it to earn money. So if you're okay with this, go and enjoy the ride. And then at number 4, we have My Dad is Too Strong, the 6th isekai on the list. Now that I'm thinking about it, it would have been better if I titled this video Top 10 Isekai Manhwa. If it being another isekai doesn't put you off, this one is a must-read for you who want a light-hearted manhwa. The basic story is about an overpowered dude simply vibing after being brought to his original life after reincarnating. He gains the ability to revert back to the past every time he dies. The main character is probably the most overpowered main character I have ever seen in a manhwa, but he barely uses his powers. The story is fun to read and utterly hilarious at times, and it's lighthearted for the majority, only taking a serious tone during situations that require it, imagine adding. And if I had to describe the action of the manhwa, then think of solo leveling in a hardcore martial arts manhwa. Mix that together, and the product which you will get is this manhwa. He gains the ability to revert back to the past every time he dies. Now bringing us to the top 3, we have the Earth Savior Selection. Now this manhwa is in this position only for its entertainment value. I mean, if this list was based on the entertainment value, this would have been an easy number 1. But it is what it is. Here, the main character starts off as a normal office worker, but when he's asked to save the world, he becomes ruthless, smart, and emotionless and can grasp the situation quickly. Almost like shedding his humanity to save humanity. If you have read another manhwa named Micro Hunter, the vibe of both these series is quite similar. And also, if you put it on paper, it seems very similar to a lot of RPGs, but the power system of this manhwa is different from other RPG-type manhwa. In this manhwa, after anything is killed, an essence orb drops, which is equivalent to that of experience points from the other RPGs. This series almost gives the vibe of an RPG, but carries its own brutality. So for those folks seeking some hardcore action manhwa, this is a gem of a recommendation. Next at number 2, we have Invincible at the Start. Another isekai. I promise this is the last one, I promise. The story starts with the main character getting migrated into a cultivation world and obtaining an invincible field around him. As long as the main character remains in the field, he's basically One Punch Man. He can kill pretty much everything in the world. But what new things does this manhwa have to offer to be this high on the list? A harem. Enough said. Go read it! Jokes aside, it has a great concept overall, a fresh idea, and a nice execution of the main plot. The main character literally swears not to leave his field of invincibility until he becomes an immortal being. He keeps training even after becoming so strong that the monsters would die with just a glimpse of his powers. In the meantime, while he was bored, he decided to make a harem. He takes in a few cute disciples and accidentally turns them into big shots of the cultivation world and turns it upside down. The thing that puts the series this high up on the list is that it tries to convey all the good points of the other manhwa mentioned in this video, and it almost succeeds in doing so. It may not have portrayed all of that perfectly, but still, one hell of a ride nonetheless. So give it a try. I bet you'll like it. But at the top spot in this list is I'm Not That Kind of Talent. Now this one truly belongs to this list. The main character is literally the best part of this manhwa. To simply describe it without giving much away is that this is freaking funny, has amazing illustrations, extremely lovable characters, and to top it all off, a mysterious main character. While a somewhat predictable plot at the beginning, with a main character who is also known as the Demon Lord, does not know his true power. Instead, he sees himself as a sickly person who vomits blood whenever he's stressed. However, he is not aware of the strength of his unknown personality, who is thereby feared by literally everyone. The story slowly unfolds, showing the true potential of the main character and the mysteries of the world. If you clicked on this video for some good manhwa suggestions, then this is one you absolutely cannot afford to miss. And I mean it. Well, I guess that's it for today. Before you leave, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. It really means a lot to us. And again, if you are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and press on that bell icon so that you never miss a single thing from us. Oh, I almost forgot one more thing. Please leave a comment on which manhwa in this list you have read or have plans on reading. And also let me know if you guys want a part 2 of this video. I have many more manhwa I'm willing to show off. And if you do, be sure to give some suggestions, and I will be sure to check it out. So as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.